guys, how are you? Happy Tuesday. Hope you guys are doing well. I know you guys are starting to probably, most of you go into like the winter and the colder seasons right now, but happy Tuesday, sending you warmth and sunshine from Israel as the weather starts to cool down where you are. Since it's Tuesday, today I'm going live, giving you tips about your content strategies, your marketing, things of that nature. So today I want to talk about branding. Branding feels like kind of an abstract term, and it's really a buzzword right now. Everyone talks about how important your company branding is and how a strong brand is an important thing to have, but it's kind of hard to get your hands around what a company brand is and what it means beyond like a Nike swoosh, right? This does matter for your small business. It's mattered in mine for sure. And I wanted to go through three things. Like I always try and break it down super simple for you. One, what exactly a brand is. Two, why you should care about it and how it helps your business. And three, how to get clear on it and use it, right? So, super simple. So, first off, for branding, this is something that's a lot easier to do when it's just you're doing a one-person show. I've been thinking about this more because recently you guys have blessed me with enough work that I've had to hire on a VA, and we've been having conversations about how my messaging comes across, what my values are in my business, and things like that. So this has become more of a present thing for me, trying to make sure I still serve you guys in the same way that has been important to me that I've done for the past more than a year. But also when it comes to branding, as I research this more for my understanding and for yours, I realized that I instinctively have done this on a very deep level for all of my website clients. And I have a free tool for that. It's linked in the description if you just need something of quick value there. And I'll get into that more, like what it is, how to use it, and why it matters. And also when it comes to branding for like small businesses, it's just like I'm teeny tiny. Up until pretty much recently, I've been a solopreneur. And by building my company brand, which I'll get into more of what that means here in a second, my sales calls are easier. I have more repeat clients. I can charge higher rates than other people who may have been writing for longer than I have. Things of that nature. That's the effect it has in my business, and it could have in yours with building up the strength of your business brand. So let's get into it. So something that may be easier is to first talk about what a brand isn't. So you may think that a brand is just a logo, a tagline, a color palette, a font. The best example I can have for that is when you see a Nike swoosh or you see the Nike tagline, you're not just reading the words, just do it. You're not just seeing a check mark on the side of a shoe. I want you to think about that when you see those logos, those taglines for something as big as, just for the purposes of right now, something as big as like Nike. When you see the swoosh, you're not just seeing a check mark. It is associated with something bigger, right? If you're thinking of athleticism, you're thinking of competition, you're thinking of overcoming, you're thinking of all of these brand values, but you're reminded of it by this visual representation, right? It's connected to a bigger message or a bigger meaning. So that's the myth I want to break down, is your branding is not just your logo. Your logo just is a visual representation of your branding, okay? So that's one thing it's not. Another thing that your brand isn't, it's not just something that matters for big global companies. So I talked about Nike is like the first, like brand, which is, of course, massive. But using your brand in a company, it's not just reserved for people like Nike. For example, the first business coach I hired, you guys probably know her, Alyssa Dillon. She had a very clear, consistent brand when I met her. She's not global, she's a small operation, but she had a consistency in her action and her values. She was authentic. She swore in her videos. She had experience building her own business to 6 figures. She was no nonsense, no fluff. She focused on getting results. All of her videos, she was consistent with that. All of her programs, all of her messaging. I knew her values because she portrayed them in every point I interacted with her in her messaging. That's what it looks like on a smaller scale. It's consistency of action, consistency of messaging, and I'll get more into that as we go. So, branding is not just something that's helpful for big companies alone. So, that's myth number 2. Also, your brand is not just something that's solely physical and tangible. Once again, your brand isn't just a website, your brand isn't just a tagline. And a brand is kind of a hard thing to wrap your hands around because it's full of emotional and intangible elements. And that's because people buy with their emotions. So business branding has that wrapped into it. So I know whenever I've tried to do research on what a brand is, what's made up in a brand, it's kind of hard to wrap your hands around or know what to do because it has those intangible emotional elements in it. So the best analogy I can have for that is like if you think of an easier term that might feel more comfortable is when you think of a company brand, think more of like a person when it comes to like their character and personality, right? A business brand is a lot like that. It's a business's character and personality, if those terms are more familiar for you or make more sense. But I'll get more into that later. So what exactly is a brand when it comes to your business? I like how 99 Brands puts it. Branding is more than just a logo you slap on your website. Your branding is who you are as a company. It's your values and your mission. It's the way you treat your customers. It's the look and feel of your visual assets. Again, it's more than just a logo. So what's included or involved in your business brand? So once again, like I said, this is a slippery thing to kind of get your hands around because it has all of these intangible elements. It'd be a lot easier if this were just a logo or a tagline. That's different. That's like visual branding. I'm talking about like your core brand. Once again, a business brand is a lot like the words for character and personality for a person. And your logo and your tagline, they're a visible piece of your company brand, but they're visual touch points. They're not the core, they're not the whole thing. So, for example, I have 2 tattoos. You may not know that. One of them is of the state of Ohio, and one of them is an alchemy symbol of copper. One of the meanings of that alchemy symbol is artistic creativity. And I got that tattoo as a visual reminder to myself of my personal values to continue to be creative. So it's kind of a comparison to like when it comes to like your logo or your visual representations. I have that value core inside of me, but the tattoo is a visual representation of it. Kind of like your logo. Your logo comes out of those core values that you operate from and interact with people from. They're supposed to represent your core, but they aren't the whole of it. So anything that represents you in your business, how others perceive you, what they think or feel when they come into contact with you or your messaging or your company or your clients, how you impact them, how you affect them, how you make them feel, what your values are, things that show your personality. Once again, it's a slippery thing to get your hands around, but once again, it goes back to that summary from that 99 Brands that I liked. Branding is more than just a logo. Your branding is who you are as a company, your values, your mission, the way you treat your customers, the look and feel of your visual assets. It's all of those things. It's complex. It's a lot of pieces. It's your story, your company story, how you got started. And you even have uncontrollable elements. You can't control how people, give you reviews for your business, but it becomes a part of your branding. Again, that's why it's difficult to kind of get your hands around what exactly a brand is. So I do want to break down like what the most important bits are, right? And also another important thing to know about brands is how people can be inconsistent. People can say, I value honesty, but then they can lie. And there can be inconsistencies in brands as well. A company may talk the talk of, we have fast delivery, but then they're notoriously slow on the turnaround. So even though they speak a brand promise, they don't hold up to it, and then it actually doesn't become a part of the brand. See why it's confusing? But I know I've confused the heck out of you going through all of those elements. But once again, I'm going to repeat that summary just to keep it back to what's simple. Your branding is who you are as a company, it's your values, it's your mission, it's the way you treat your customers, it's the look and feel of your visual assets. And it does matter over time to build it up. So if you don't have a crystal clear brand identity, value, way of treating people, things of that nature, from day one, that's okay. It gets refined from time, it gets refined as you interact with people. It's okay. It's an organic thing that grows with you. It's something that I've grown and refined myself. And also remember, your brand is more than just a logo. It's how you consistently act over an extended period of time in your business. So now that I confused the heck out of you, out of what exactly gets involved in the word branding, I do want to get into why you should care about it. And then I'll go more into the tool I have, which really actually is pretty straightforward as far as how you get clear on it, how you move forward, how you figure out what your top values are. So once again, the link for that tool is in the description. If you want to just jump to that, that's fine. But anyways, why should you care about a brand? How does it help you in your business? So again, I started out a little bit in the beginning where I told you branding has helped me tremendously. So how many points do I have here for that? 4, okay. So I have 4 reasons why you should care about building a brand and how it can help your business. 1 is better visibility. It helps you stand out and be recognized in a noisy online world, so you can be seen and hired. So part of your branding, part of your message, your values, the way you interact with customers, it's important to find what makes you different. You know, most of the people who are watching this are probably bookkeepers. You know that there's a bajillion bookkeepers out there. You're in Facebook groups with them, you're in coaching, training classes with them, you're friends with them. There are tons of bookkeepers out there. What makes you different? For example, I had to deal with that question as a copywriter. What sets me apart as a writer? There are tons of people out there who want to write for a living. Why am I different? What makes me different? The good thing is, you don't have to have something earth-shattering. You really don't. You really don't. Think of it this way. If your company's a Big Mac, your point of difference is your special sauce, okay? And don't forget, people buy with their emotions. The sales adage, know, like, trust, is there for a reason. Your personality can help set you apart. You can have a certain personal touch or sense of humor. Maybe if you're a bookkeeper, you're in a very formal field. Maybe you are very irreverent and super warm and informal. And maybe that's a way of setting yourself apart. So, but it helps you stand out. Like in a sea of blue fish, you're a red fish, right? And it could be something more like a personal familiarity or a shared value. So for example, if you already have clients, look at the patterns of what matters to them. Are you very recycling conscious? Maybe your clients are too. Do you see that commonality? Okay, maybe you can build on that. Maybe you can try and have like an eco-friendly business, and that's one of your values or something. You know what I'm saying? Something to make you more than just a bookkeeper, because you're not. But you know what I'm saying there. So that's a value of yours that comes out in your brand message. So another thing that may come out of branding that actually worked well for me is that as I got into my point of difference, I realized with my 10 years of bookkeeping experience, I had this perfect crossover to help with the writing for current bookkeepers. And then my point of difference actually ended up becoming a niche for me. So try and think about that too. You know, could your point of difference be something that puts you into a niche, right? Anyway, so one good thing about good branding, you're more visible. You're able to stand out more from all the hundreds and millions of other people who are trying to do the same profession that you are. Another thing that's great about good branding is you have better sales. You can charge more and you have more easier sales calls. as my branding has gotten better, and by that, what I'm known for when I'm interacting with bookkeepers, the work that I do for them, the quality of work that I provide, things of that nature, as I stay consistent with it over a long period of time, I'm able to charge more quickly, because I know that there are people on Upwork. Again, I'm not the only person trying to make money as a writer. I know there are plenty of people on Upwork who are also writing, who've probably been professionally writing longer than me, charging less than I do. They don't have a brand recognition. They haven't built up trust or relationships through a brand for their company to charge more. If you do that for your business, you can charge more. You've earned that trust. You've earned that loyalty. And also those relationships, those connections. And as a result of people, getting to know me through these videos, through my social media posts, through the tools I give, like I have linked here, as people get to know me through that, they're much more likely to sign up with me, to work with me. So my sales calls, guys, my sales calls are very warm. By the time someone gets on the phone with me, because they've interacted with me and my brand message, they're ready to sign up with me. That makes it a lot easier for me to have warm sales calls. Again, keep in mind, people buy with their emotions and back up with their reason. So with a strong brand message showing who I am, what I do, what I care about, they can connect with me emotionally, and people buy emotionally. So not only does it help with sales, it helps with better client relationships over the long term. So you can pretty much convince most people to work with you once, but the test of your brand is going to be they're going to work with you twice or more. You build brand loyalty by making a promise with your brand, for example, like really fast turnaround times. I know some copywriters who their central brand is, next day turnaround. I'm not that person, that's okay. They have to hold to that. That's part of their brand. And if you're consistent to that, if you hold the promise that you talk about with your actions, people will keep coming back to you. If you hold the promise and stay consistent, people will return to you. Not only will they return to you and hire you again or continue to work with you for months or years, they will refer people to you. They will advocate for you. I'm giggling right now because so one of the perils of being a content writer is, especially in the online world, is that your content has the propensity to get swiped, especially when it turns out good and is effective. I'm not at the point where some of my current members will actually call these people out and let me know that it's going on, and it's really funny. So I have these clients where I built this relationship with them through my branding, through holding to the brand promises I have, that I have those loyalties, those friendships, those referrals through them, which again makes the sales cycle better. And once you get really clear on your branding, what your values are, who you're helping, what's important to you, where your messaging overlaps or values overlap, it's a lot easier to write your business messaging. It's kind of like if you're throwing a ball and you don't know which direction to throw it, you kind of get haphazard, you don't know where you're aiming. If you narrow your field of focus, you can actually head a certain direction, and you can be more cohesive, and you can also be more effective. If you have a more limited scope of, okay, in my business I want these 3 things to be the priority, and I have an exercise in the tool that I have linked here to help you figure out what those are. Again, super easy. By limiting your scope, by limiting your top values, it gives you a direction. And over time, like I said, this is organic. As I've clarified and defined my brand, it helps me with my messaging. It helps me get very specific. It helps me know exactly who I'm talking to. It helps me know exactly which products to offer and to lean into. Again, it got refined over time, but it is an increasing thing. And as your messaging gets better, once again, guess what? Your sales get better. You get more successful with your marketing. So this is how your brand helps with that. So that's how your branding can help why it matters to your business. You're more visible, you have better sales, you have better client relationships that are long term, and you also have better, easier messaging. So finally, how do you get clear on or act on your personal brand. So open this up, there we go. Again, if you're a bookkeeper, I have a free tool in the description. If you're not a bookkeeper, it will still probably help you as a template. So it's a multiple page tool. One of the pages is a list of more than 90 bookkeeper websites. That's why it's so helpful. But even if you're not a bookkeeper, you could probably use it still. You would just have to look up the websites for your niche on your own. So this is a tool that I actually use for all of my website clients. And I have them fill it out before we get on our first call. It's very important for them to do this brand homework before they get in a call with me. They need to be aware of what their brand values are, and the easiest way to do that is to look at what other people are doing in their business. And you can say, I like that, I don't like that, and here's why. That will go a hugely long way in helping define what your values are. Again, it sounds simple, but it's critical. Excuse me. Again, you don't have to learn from a blank page. I had a client of mine, how she's like, I didn't even think to work for my competitors. I didn't even, it didn't feel quite right. You're learning from them. You don't have to start from a blank page. You can see what trends are, you can see what works, what doesn't work, you can see everyone's moving in this direction, I can go in this direction. It's really, really helpful for that. And then one part of it also is in there I have an exercise of value words. So in it I have a list of like things like badass versus frugal, or reliable, wealth, things of that nature, different like value words. I ask my clients to first highlight everything that feels like pertains to them, and then I tell them to narrow it down to the top 3. And this has a huge effect on how we write their website, how we focus the language, how we focus who we're talking to. So if you're getting started and already have a few clients, I'm going to start there. If you have a new business, I'll come back to that in a second. If you already have a few clients, you probably have more of a brand than you think you do. Your values and your consistencies are probably already known and present. So go back to your previous interactions with them. What are you always promising? What is the tone in your emails? Are you informal? Are you professional? Do you like to reply in a certain amount of time? Have you been told that you're different from other bookkeepers in X, Y, or Z way? By the way, if you are in this position, another tool that I have for you, you probably benefit from like a client avatar sheet. I have one, if you'd like one. If nothing else, to help you evaluate the similarities in your audience. Once again, that's something that your branding helps you talk to. But if you are just brand new with a couple clients, that's okay. The tool will help you with that as well. Again, you're seeing what's out there, what you like, what you don't like, and why. Those are very simple things. Again, it's not hard to go through, but it does a lot in helping clarify who you are, what you want. I help brand new bookkeepers like this all the time. I'm finishing a website right now for a client who's in that part of her business journey, and we figured out that stuff out together. It probably will get refined over time. She felt nervous that she didn't have more of a niche, but that's okay. Again, your branding can be organic. Think about a person. Your character and your personality, it kind of shifts over time, right? And that's okay. Your business brand can be in the same realm. You can refine it over time. And if you're brand new, also think about what matters to you as far as what do you want your future clients to say about you. If you're a furniture maker, do you want to be known as the one who makes stuff from sustainable materials? If you're a restaurant, do you want to have a warm and homey atmosphere or a high-end, classy atmosphere? You know what I'm saying? That's how you can get those comparisons and figure out this is more what I value, what I am. And again, don't get discouraged because you're new or aren't sure of your niche. Jump in and refine it as you go. It's okay. This stuff is organic. It takes time. There's also So when it comes to showing your branding, again, I know that your logo is an important part of the visual part of it, and that's what your brain jumps to first. But your brand, once again, it comes from your core, it comes from your values. So I want to jump into some like key elements for how to demonstrate your brand, right? This isn't just about Pantone color. It's about, again, that word character or personality. So one element is to be consistent. So I talk about this with like social media for like algorithm purposes. Showing up consistently helps with algorithms. It also builds trust. It's the same here with your brand. You need to be consistent in your actions for your brand message. And it's honestly why I think authenticity is so vital in business, because if you're authentic, then consistency is effortless. Of course you're going to act in manner X, Y, or Z. That's exactly who you are, right? And basically every word and action should be consistent with what you're promising. Are you promising to be warm? Are you promising to have fast turnaround time? Are you promising to be sustainable? Then make sure that every point that they come in contact with you, with your writing, with your branding, with whatever, that it holds up in line with those three top value words, remember? That it's in line with your brand promise. And again, actions speak louder than words. I can't wait to watch this from the beginning, soaking up your knowledge. Oh, good, Kimberly. I'm glad it's helpful. So actions speak louder than words. Just whatever you do, make sure that you can say whatever you want in your website and your social media posts, whatever, but it's your actions that really bring across the character, the brand of your business. Another important thing, when it comes to your brand messaging, know your clients. Please keep in mind, 42% of startups fail because they don't solve a real market need, okay? So you can't get super clear on your business brand and then talk to nothing. You need to make sure that you know who you're talking to. Don't get so caught up in getting your personality clear and finding yourself that you're not talking to anyone about it. And I've mentioned this before, it's like on your website, you have an About Me page. And even there, you're still trying to talk about your clients and what matters to them. So remember that when it comes to your branding, you have to say it in a way that matters to the people you're trying to help. So that's something important to keep in mind when it comes to your actions, your messaging, and things of that nature. Know who you're talking to. And then also think long term. Your brand, there are terms like brand loyalty, brand awareness, stuff like that. This is an internet version of trust. And once again, just like in real life with relationships with people, trust takes time to build and it takes consistent action. It's the character of your business. But again, it snowballs beautifully. I've told you again about the results it's had in my business for having a consistent brand and showing up the way I do. I'm able to charge higher rates, have better client relationships, get more referrals, repeat clients, on and on. It takes time, it takes patience, but remember, it's all a part of that sales adage, know, like, trust. Trust takes a little time to build, but with consistent action, you can build it and it pays off. So I think I talked plenty long enough for you guys. Again, I have a free tool for bookkeepers for this. There's a link to it in the description. Go use it, get a copy of it, get nice and clear on it. It will help if you feel like you are struggling to get clear. It's simple, it's just an Excel spreadsheet. It'll help you get there, no problem. And if you're not a bookkeeper, it'll still help you with the format. Again, your brand is more than your logo. Your brand is basically your business character, your business personality. And if you're consistent in your actions, it'll pay off over time. And also, it's okay to refine it over time. It's an organic thing. It grows with you and your business. And it gets clearer, not by holding back and overanalyzing it. Don't do that. It gets clearer through practice, through interaction, through seeing how it lands with clients you want to work with, projects you like or don't like. Practice it. Practice your brand. It can be refined. It's okay. So that's what I have for you today. Let me know if you have any questions. I know that it was hard to kind of really narrow it down, but I hope it at least put your value where it needs to be, and at least put your value where it needs to be. So anyways, I hope you guys have a good day, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye.